Hello friends, I'm Arpit and I'm here with today's analysis. Today is 25th of October and we are going to deal with two very important topics. First is the Kazan Declaration. It is the outcome of the BRICS Summit 2024, which was the first summit after the expansion of BRICS, which included countries like Iran, UAE, Ethiopia and Egypt, apart from Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Multilateralism was talked about. Reforms in multilateral organizations were talked about. We were also talking about establishing BRICS Grains Initiative to ensure food security in the member countries. The concerns of the global south were talked about in the heightened political atmosphere in the world right now, where two geopolitical conflicts are going on, one in Russia, Ukraine, the other one in West Asia. And obviously, resolution to these conflicts was also talked about. Coincidentally, on the day of this summit, there was a major cyber attack in Russia by unknown attackers. Obviously, it was a denial of service attack. But yes, what did the attackers want to signify? Did they want to highlight the weak digital infrastructure of the BRICS countries? Well, India can sense an opportunity over here. Apart from it, it was also important because PM Modi and Xi Jinping met for a formal bilateral meeting after 2020, that is 4 years. Since the Galwan Valley clashes, both the leaders did not meet for a formal diplomatic meeting or formal bilateral meeting. However, there had been exchange of pleasantries in multiple multilateral institutions. But yes, a formal bilateral meeting was not there. The main crux of this meeting was the resolution of the conflict in the Ladakh region, which a day before, I would say, the start of the BRICS summit, both the countries had reached some understanding on the patrolling agreement. So this was there, and obviously we'll move on to the MCQs then, and we will be discussing to the answers of the MCQs of yesterday. So the Kazan Declaration. This was basically the 16th BRICS summit held in Kazan, Russia. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa issued a declaration calling for reforms in international institutions to promote a just and democratic global order. In fact, if you look at the theme also, the theme was strengthening multilateralism for just global development and security. So we need to strengthen multilateralism. We need to have multiple poles in the world. And we need to have a freer world so that people or countries can connect with any pole if they wish to. Obviously, BRICS in itself is a pole, and this BRICS pole is being looked upon by many countries, especially in the global south. And this is being looked down upon many countries in the west, the global north, because this BRICS is kind of projecting itself to those institutions, those multilateral institutions dominated by the West. Obviously, they will have a problem with such kind of institutions. Key points. There is a need for reforms of global institutions. So we've talked about reforms in World Bank, we've talked about reforms in United Nations Security Council, reforms in the WTO, that is World Trade Organization, and multiple other multilateral institutions which are dominated by the West. If you pick up any heads of the World Bank, you'll always find to be that person an American citizen. Any head of the IMF, that person will be a European citizen in the history till now. So this is how the domination is, and they discriminate against the developing and underdeveloped world, and everyone is fed up. So we are saying that you do the reforms, otherwise you will lose your relevance. That is what we want to say. We want to do the reforms in Bretton Woods institutions like World Bank and all, or World Trade Organizations. Opposition to unilateral measures. BRICS opposes unilateral, prohibitive, discriminatory and protectionist measures. They impose sanctions frequently. Then UN reforms, especially in the Security Council, we are wanting reforms. And the best part is two permanent members of UN Security Council are part of BRICS also, that is Russia and China. New initiatives, information and communication technologies. So BRICS recognizes the potential of these technologies in bridging the digital divide. And India is known for its digital progress in the last few years. New Development Bank, this is a financial institution established under BRICS, and this is being projected at par with the World Bank. World Bank is a financial institution under United Nations, issues loans for socio-economic development, and at par, BRICS countries in 2014 established New Development Bank, which issues loans for socio-economic development. Has it issued loan to India? Yes. Mumbai Metro Rail, the Delhi Meerut Rapid Rail Transit System, all has been constructed by funds taken from New Development Bank. The new technology platform, BRICS supports creating a new technology platform to strengthen development cooperation, including producing high-tech products. Transport and logistics. The declaration welcomes the creation of a united transport and logistics platform. This is also a digital platform which will enable, I would say, seamless logistics. It will give supply chain resilience to the BRICS countries. Grain exchange. The leaders support Russia's proposal to create a grain exchange to promote rules-based trade in agricultural products and fertilizers and minimize disruptions. So this is something which has been impacting the world. So we are coming out with a solution over here. Then expanding cooperation, use of national currencies. Use of respective national currencies. On the social media, there have been rumors going on that BRICS is going to launch its own currency, and a note is being circulated where, in a circle, the flags of the 5 countries are there. That is not true. They have not said anything. They have not declared anything. Yes, this is on the cards, but yes, nothing was talked about. But what they are saying by saying this is use of national currencies is means use your own currencies to do trade. Like we have a rupee ruble trade agreement where we are importing anything from Russia, so we are paying them in either INR or ruble. So like China and Russia has that ruble yuan agreement. So domestic currencies we are trading in our respective national currencies we are trading in, so that our dependency on dollar reduces. That is what we want to promote. Strategic partnerships. It highlights importance of expanding cooperation based on common interests and further building strategic partnerships. Global South partnership. So Global South is basically developing and underdeveloped countries of Asia, Africa, and South America. So BRICS actually is an organization of developing countries of these 3 continents only. So we can say that this is an organization of the Global South. So we want to deepen the partnership with Global South, and actually it is more countries in the Global South which are wanting to become part of BRICS. So it is this way. Opposing global crisis. So global crisis like outer space weapons, this is something which is growing. Countries have developed weapons which can destroy the satellites of other countries. If communication satellites and all are destroyed, so obviously it will hamper communication at the ground level, and it can hamper the military capabilities at the ground level. This is what the countries are thinking, and they have developed weapons for it. So just think how cruel this world is getting. So, BRICS opposes the deployment of weapons in outer space and supports strengthening global non-proliferation and disarmament regimes. So, the leaders called for implementing a Security Council resolution on preventing weapons of mass destruction from falling into the hands of terrorists also. Then, law enforcement cooperation. There's a call for strengthened ties between the agencies. We talked about Ukrainian crisis. What a coincidence. Russia is there. And the summit is in Russia. We're talking about Ukrainian crisis. BRICS outlined its positions on Ukrainian crisis and noted proposals for mediation to resolve the conflict through negotiations. And if BRICS is able to do this, negotiate and resolve this conflict, obviously the stature of BRICS will increase. Actually, UN should be doing it, but we all know what UN is doing it. So this is what BRICS is trying, and obviously this the world needs. Support for Palestine. The declaration expresses support for Palestine's full-fledged membership in the UN, condemning Israel's attack on UN employees in Lebanon. Haiti. BRICS welcomes the creation of Haitian Transitional Presidential Council and an electoral council to address the crisis in Haiti. There was a political crisis in Haiti also going on, so that has been addressed. In Sudan, the declaration expresses concern over the escalating violence and worsening humanitarian situation in Sudan, calling for a ceasefire. So in Sudan, the military and the paramilitary forces, they are fighting with each other, obviously for political power. Human rights issues. The leaders criticize the politicization of human rights and double standards, opposing all forms of discrimination in sorts. So, the Western countries, they often criticize other countries in case of human rights violation, and when they are doing human rights violation, then it is fine. This is basically double standards which the BRICS countries have been talking about. Then next is Global governance and multilateralism. So role of G20 we highlighted. The G20 is an economic organization. So they said that we recognize the importance of the continued and productive functioning of G20 based on consensus with a focus on results. So next year, sorry, not next, but this year, the G20 summit is going to be there in Brazil. Next year, the BRICS summit is going to be there in Brazil. So Brazil will have a key role to play. Brazil is also part of BRICS. Financial architecture reforms. BRICS nations agreed to improve global governance by advocating for more responsive and representative systems so that the concerns of the developing and underdeveloped world is also accommodated. Multilateral institutions should be like this. Financial innovation. The summit encouraged new financial practices through BRICS Interbank Cooperation Mechanism, that is ICM. Then International Monetary Fund Declaration reaffirmed the commitment to maintaining a strong global financial safety net with the IMF at its center. So, as I said that BRICS countries developed a counterpart of World Bank, New Development Bank in 2014. BRICS countries have also developed a counterpart of IMF along with NDB in 2014. It is called as Contingency Reserve Arrangement, that is CRA. But still it is saying that we promote IMF at the core of the global financial systems because the pockets of IMF are too deep as compared to CRA. So it is like this. Economic cooperation and local currencies, the cross-border payments, they're saying that we want to do it in I would say our respective domestic currencies so that we can reduce the dependence on dollar. So this is like this. The declaration stated we recognize the benefits of faster, low cost and safe cross-border payment systems that minimize trade barriers. Minimize trade barriers means our dependency on dollar will reduce, volatility due to fluctuations in the exchange rate will reduce. So that is what they want to highlight. BRICS Clear Depository. Leaders agreed to explore initiatives for economic integration, including establishing a BRICS grain exchange and studying the feasibility of BRICS cross-border payment system. So this cross-border payment system is like we have a SWIFT cross-border payment system which facilitates international payments and settlements. So they are also considering their own cross-border payment systems and settlement systems. Then BRICS Grain Exchange, the initiative for creating a grain trading platform within BRICS was welcomed, promoting agricultural cooperation. This will ultimately lead to food security. BRICS Plus partnership with growing interest from countries in the global south. Actually, more than 40 countries have expressed their interest in joining BRICS. Countries like Turkey, countries like Malaysia and Azerbaijan were attending this summit also. And those three countries have expressed their desire to join BRICS. But yes, for including membership or increasing membership in BRICS, it is clear that consensus has to be there. Means all the existing members have to agree, then only membership will increase. The question is, will India agree for Turkey? Pakistan is also in the queue. Will India agree for Pakistan? Well, these are the two big questions, and we should leave it to time to get the answers of these questions. Concerns over sanctions. BRICS nations expressed deep concerns regarding unlawful unilateral coercive measures, and the West is basically into more and more of imposing sanctions and all. So we are of this viewpoint, why? Always why? And why you always have to impose sanctions? Do away with these sanction things. The Kazan Declaration addressed the ongoing conflict in West Asia, calling for an immediate, comprehensive, and permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. So, this is all what was discussed. The Kazan Declaration, you might be sensing that, they are, or we as BRICS are, highlighting the shortcomings of the West dominated systems. And we want to rectify them. We are challenging them, no doubt about this fact. But yes, does that mean that the power of the West is reducing? Well, as aspirants, we should not interpret it in this way. We can interpret it in this way that the West's position is being challenged. That is the key way, or that is the right way to interpret it. And to challenge West's position, obviously, one such organization, BRICS, is there. PM Modi and Xi Jinping bilateral meeting. So this was the much awaited and much talked about meeting. However, our Prime Minister met with the Russian President also, which I will be covering tomorrow. But yes, this was more important because this meeting was happening after 4 years. 4 years since the Galwan Valley clashes started, and just 2 days after when the patrolling agreement was signed between India and China. So, in this meeting, the main highlight was how to make India China relations better. Because India and China are not only important partners in Asia, but yes, their relations will have a wide ranging impact on the global affairs. India, known to be a Vishwamitra, America seeing India as a way to counterbalance China. If India China relations increase, obviously the West, that is US, might not be having India as a partner to counterbalance China, which can be a further dent on the West. But yes, India being a Vishwamitra means a Vishwamitra. India wants to be friends with China. India wants to be friends with USA also. India wants to be friend with Russia. India wants to be friend with West Asian countries. India wants to be friend with African countries, South American countries, Micronesian countries, Southeast Asian countries, East Asian countries, Australia, New Zealand. We don't want to leave anyone. And we want to take everyone along. Forward together we go. After all, this was the theme of this year's United Nations General Assembly. And that theme actually suits us. So we see this particular, meeting from that particular lens, that is Ladakh. Context of the meeting: impact of Ladakh standoff. India-China relations face serious challenges after military standoff in Ladakh, which began in May 2020 as a result of China's unilateral actions, violating line of actual control. We know that why this happened, why this started. 2-3 days ago, when we were discussing the patrolling agreement, we talked about it. The meeting occurred less than 72 hours after both nations reached a breakthrough in talks, that is the patrolling agreement I'm talking about, that was signed. So I think on 22nd of October or 23rd of October, we discussed about this patrolling agreement. Recent developments: the patrolling arrangement is significant as it comes 4 years after the Galwan Valley clashes. Galwan Valley is that region where they intruded into Indian territory because they wanted to have a clear access of that road which India was constructing from Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldi via Shyok. Key message from PM Modi. So he highlighted the importance of relations, said that their relationship is crucial not only for their citizens but also for the global peace, stability, and progress. And one message was loud and clear that India is not going to bow down in front of China. If we had to bow down, we could have bowed down in 4 years, but we did not. We were standing in their faces, resisting them, telling them that you have done the wrong thing, and you know, standing up to them. That is what we need to understand. Focus on peace and stability. He stated it should be our priority to ensure there is peace and stability along our border. Constructive dialogue. Modi conveyed his belief that they have an opportunity to address these important issues and expressed trust that their talks would be constructive and moving forward. Key message from Xi Jinping. Significance of meeting. President Xi stated that it is my great pleasure to meet you here in Kazan. Noting this is their first formal meeting in 5 years. He acknowledged that both nations and the international community are closely watching their discussions. And obviously, the hint was towards the West. And obviously, China and India being developing countries and being neighbors, most importantly, they need to cooperate with each other. The Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai saga can restart, but yes, with more realism, I would say. Not, much of optimism and all, but with more realistic approach. Common interest. He pointed out that China and India are both ancient civilizations and major developing countries at a crucial phase in their modernization efforts. There is a need for cooperation. Xi stressed the importance of better communication and operation to properly handle differences and facilitate each other's development aspirations. So, if there are, differences, they need to be handled. Obviously, both the countries need to develop. And if we collectively develop, mutually we will be benefited. No doubt about this fact. Pakistan is also watching this. So, will Pakistan be so happy about it? I don't think so. Previous meetings. There have been brief interactions between PM Modi and Xi Jinping since 2020 Galwan clashes. They met in the G20 summit in Bali 2022, Indonesia. Then BRICS summit in Johannesburg, South Africa last year, that is August 2023. However, there was not formal bilateral meetings focused on trade, economy or other key issues. But yes, this was the first formal bilateral meeting after the Galwan Valley clashes happened. Challenges in relations, travel and visa issues. These are challenges. China indulges into issuing stapled visas to Indian citizens who are domiciled from Arunachal Pradesh and want to travel to China. So these kind of issues are there. They need to be addressed. Economic ties. Trade is increasing, but the trade gap is increasing. Trade deficit is increasing for India. China indulges into practices like dumping and all. So that needs to be more fair. So this is what we need to understand, and obviously this is a welcome step. We don't want conflict with anybody, especially in our neighborhood. In fact, nobody wants. China also does not want. But yes, if China keeps up its expansionist tendency, we know how to control it. We are also developing our military capabilities, although our military expenditure is less than China's. Our military expenditure is somewhere around 85 to 90 billion dollars. China's is somewhere around 300 billion dollars. But yes, our forces are well equipped. We have to construct border infrastructure. We are constructing, and we are constructing at rapid pace. So, harmony, stability, and brotherhood in relationship is, if it is there, it will definitely benefit both of these countries, and not only both of these countries, the entire South Asian region, and not only the entire South Asian region, the entire Asian continent, and not only the entire Asian continent, the entire world. So that is why Xi Jinping was saying that the world is watching us, because it is important for the world to see how India and China cooperate with each other. Now coming on to the MCQs, what was the theme for BRICS Summit 2024 held in Kazan? Forward together we go, reform for relevance, shared effort, progress for all, or strengthening multilateralism for just global development and security. So out of these, you have to answer. Relatively very simple question. Which of the following multilateral institutions was under discussions for reforms in BRICS Summit 2024? UNSC, WTO, one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Third, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. BRICS Grain Initiative is an initiative for attaining food security. India will host the 2025 BRICS Summit. Which of these statements are correct? Fourth, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. PM Modi and President Xi Jinping met on the sidelines of BRICS Summit for a formal bilateral meeting, first time since Galwan Valley clashes. Second, from 2020 to 2024, trade between India and China drastically reduced. Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Now the MCQs from yesterday. What does Abhidhamma signify? Abhidhamma is basically ethical conduct, self-awareness. So self-awareness is one of the options. This is going to be the correct answer for this. That is self-awareness, B option. It was very simple. So consider the following pairs and mark how many are correctly matched. Sutta Pitaka monastic rules, Vinay Pitaka Buddha's discourses, Abhidham Pitaka ethical analysis. So Abhidham Pitaka ethical analysis, so we know this is true. We've been talking about it. We've talked about it also. So this is right. But these two, these are cross-matched. Sutta Pitaka is Buddha's discourses and Vinay Pitaka is monastic rules. What rules have to be followed by the monks while staying in the stupas and all. So only one, this is wrong, so only one pair is correctly matched. So A is going to be the correct answer for this. Third, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. All the Pitakas are in Pali language. This is true. The Jatakas, means the fairy tales and all, they are in Sanskrit. No, they are also in Pali. So this is wrong. So only one is going to be the correct answer for this. Fourth, consider the following statements and mark the correct one. Incidences of child marriages in India have come down after the passage of Prevention of Child Marriage Act. Yes, they have come down, no doubt about the fact. We had some statistics also, which we discussed. The minimum age for marriage for boys, that is 21, and girls, that is 18, is mentioned in the Prevention of Child Marriage Act. Yes, this is true. It is mentioned. So, both 1 and 2 are going to be the correct option for this question. Fifth, consider the following statements with respect to Nasim Al Bahar naval exercise and mark the correct one. This is a trilateral exercise. No, this is a bilateral exercise between India and Oman. So, this is basically wrong. India participated with INS Arihant in 2024 edition. This statement is also wrong as India participated with INS Trikand in the 2024 edition. So this is also wrong. So both the statements are wrong. That is, D is going to be the correct option for this particular statement question. Now with this, we come to an end of today's session. I will be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Keep watching the videos, keep attempting the questions, and keep sharing these videos in your groups with students who are preparing. Namaste. Jai Hind.